Absolute Radio.
Oh, just imagine that you're in a little cosy log cabin, all tucked in, all cosy in your bed, and lovely and warm as a log fire in the hearth. And outside you can hear the wind whistling and the trudging of strangers going through the cold, cold night. But we're all nice and lovely and toasty in here. That's how it is in the Absolute Radio studios, as we see it, as the cold weather rages outside. I'm Frank Skinner. Remember me? And I'm with Emily Dean and Laura Solon.
One boy.
Go, Elvis.
Two little girls.
And he did go. And
There's no
this
stranger
is
to two little girls either.
well, I've heard that. Not little.
No. Over the age.
Not the Weekend Podcast is what this is, and it's lovely of you to download. I love a download.
Oh.
When you really want one. There's nothing better, is there? Anyway. So look, I need your advice,
Is that not cleared up?
Now, I tell you what, I've been getting emails from a lady called Sue.
Oh, God.
Now, I know what it sounds like. It sounds like a mad fan thing, but I don't think this person knows who I am.
Okay.
Because my email isn't in my Frank Skinner name.
Right.
But I've received about between 40 and 50 emails, all of which...
50?
Yes, all of which have a combination of 4 different photographs.
Oh, God.
Yes. There's a white outside table and chairs with what looks like a conch shell in the middle of the table, as if it might be used to call neighbours to a crisis. And then there's a carport with a car, like a sort of outside garage lean-to with a very small car, much too small.
A carport. Is this lady American?
I think it's a kind of a white wooden house.
Well, she resides in America. It could be Subo. Who knows?
Well, there's another picture of she's called Sue. It's possible.
And you did go back to her West Lothian abode once.
I did, but that's I don't know if she'd be capable of putting together an attachment of any kind. The other picture is a rickety white fence leading up to balcony doors. And the final one, the one that's featured most heavily, is a picture of Sue's... she has an illuminated plastic cactus.
Of course she does.
That wears a red Stetson.
Why wouldn't she?
Now, I've received, just from a casual glance through the emails I haven't deleted from Sue, I could see this picture has been sent to me at least 4 times with the following subject titles on the emails.
What does it say?
Gather ye round for this. And they are my Xmas tree.
What, the cactus?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
a
then
shame.
my Xmas cactus.
She got it right the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No subject. I think she got it right the 3rd time. And my particular favourite, here she is.
Of the cactus.
Yeah. As if it's something, when are you going to send me that cactus you've been telling me about?
Here she is.
I mean,
It's like Onassis's yacht or something.
Yeah. And this is a terrible plastic But anyway, when she'd sent me about 30, I thought, she obviously, the friend she's sending them to has got a name a bit similar to me, so we've probably got a similar address.
That's what it is.
So I wrote to her and I said, I began, Dear Sue, I am not your friend.
Oh,
I've begun many an email like that, Frank.
Yes. But I hope she didn't take that the wrong way, because there is a hint of Kathy Bates in Misery to the photographs.
Do you know what? I just looked at them. I think at some point you're going to get a picture that shows an arm. Like, it's pictures to evidence of a crime. Like, it's going to be one of those things. They're sending pictures to you, and you're going to have to turn detective to work out what horrible thing has happened.
There'll be a severed arm, and the subject line will still be "Here she is."
Yeah, and then there'll be in the background you'll get a magnifying glass and see that a copy of your autobiography will be on the shelf at the back.
I don't think she knows, but who knows? I mean, that red Stetson could have a head in it.
What?
For all I know.
What did you say then? You said, "I'm not your friend."
I said, "I'm not your friend." I don't think these photos shouldn't be coming to me. I think I said you need to check the address, and I thought that'll be enough. And then I got all 4 photos in one document saying, did you get them? Sorry they're not reaching you. Did you get them this time? And I thought, no, I didn't say they weren't reaching me. I said they were reaching me. And if they weren't reaching me, how could they have possibly emailed you to say that they weren't? I wouldn't have even known you'd sent them, Sue.
Do you think Sue is of a certain age?
I'm imagining that... I mean, I don't know anything about Sue apart from her conch and a cactus.
Yeah. Well, that's all you need to know about a woman.
But I think, I know what you mean about the severed arm.
Yeah.
I think it could be one of those American stories when she's had her idiot brother working as a slave for her.
Yeah.
And he's died and she hasn't got the heart to bury him.
She can't afford to.
Yeah. And now he's in 9 Tesco bags under the carport, if they have Tesco out there.
And an illuminated
Walmart.
cactus.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't know, what else can I say to her?
Well, she probably thinks she's sending them to her friend again, but why didn't she stop when the friend didn't respond for 30 emails?
I think she just thinks they're not getting through. There must be another reason for sending 50 emails of the same pictures.
Here are some pictures of my home.
I'd get legal on this.
Do you think?
Yeah.
It could be some kind of weird virus that's reading your computer hard drive and stealing your personal information.
Really?
I don't know. I'm just saying things.
Oh no, I'm worried. I imagine the police showing me this picture of this middle-aged woman with, half bald, holding up her blood
with a plaster
covered
over
knife.
Over one.
And the detective saying, "Here she is."
Here she is.
If you get one with a subject line, "Hey, Mr. Man," I would panic then.
Why?
Because that's what Kathy Bates used to say in Misery.
Oh,
Yeah.
does she?
If there's a picture of a ceramic penguin facing due south.
Yeah, I'll just presume that's from
the
you.
conch is ceramic.
I've looked at these, Frank, and I tell you what, nice car.
Do you think?
I mean, if you weren't attached, and happily so, could
Not
do
nice
worse.
cactus,
Maybe she's
though.
trying to meet a man.
Yeah,
honestly.
but that might not be her car. That'll be the car of someone who's stopped
B&Bs.
asking where the garage, the nearest
B&Bs,
garage is.
yeah. She said it's through here in my basement. Come
Yeah.
here, I'll direct you. Put your head on this saw.
Anyway, that's my current... I can't look at my inbox. She sent me a recent... most recent was it's snowing in the Azmuts, which I think could be Arizona mountains, maybe. And it's a video that lasts, I would say...
Or maybe it's some terrible euphemism, Frank.
Well, the video lasts about 0.8 of a second. I would say.
Watch the video.
I think it was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be a photo, and she's pressed the videotape. There's a very sharp move, and it's gone. And a hint of snow, no more. A powdering.
We've got American listeners, so who knows? Maybe someone who knows. We can't say.
I don't want to say her surname.
No,
But
because
she's
not
called.
fair.
If you know someone called Sue, who's got an illuminated cactus.
And a conch on a table.
Yes, if she's got... Anyway, enough of that. It's been nagging at me. What else?
I'll tell you what else. Laura has been. I'd go so far as to say she's been boasting, Frank.
I've not been boasting. I've just discovered.
Oh, this is Laura Town, isn't it?
I've just discovered, to my not insubstantial pleasure, that there is a town called Solon in Ohio, the States. United States of America, over in the States.
Yeah.
And
Just so you know, anyone who might run into Frank, he loves people that say the States.
No, I really
States.
don't.
And so I was looking, and I've become quite a fan, quite a regular visitor to its homepage, Solon, Ohio, and it has an active stream recycling program. I don't know what that is, but it sounds positive. It has a deer problem.
Oh.
It has curbside leaf collection for 2011, will run from October through mid-December.
Is a deer problem a problem that holds very close to
No,
its
it's
heart?
actually an animal problem. They have to cull deer. But I'm wondering, if I lived in Solon, Ohio, would that make my life better?
Because they'd think you were one of the founding...
They think I owned it.
Because you could go around lauding it.
Yeah, I'd be like, this is my town.
That's the way it worked in America in those
Luckily,
days,
I
isn't it?
read
Right.
this deposition. I could, yeah.
Well, people would just... They'd just
The
establish
sun,
a town and name it after themselves.
It became a city on the 6th of December in 1860, so it's recently
Oh,
celebrated.
It's a
its
city?
birthday. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like some
No.
tiny place.
No, but there is a place called Skinnertown in Polk County, Texas.
I like the sound of it so
And
far.
that sounds rather redneck.
Yeah,
that's
sounds
Frank.
It's not a place you should visit.
There'll be a lot of people with bloodhounds and pickup trucks there.
Your elbow will get bitten by a very angry pig.
That'll be the sort of place where the bloke gets into the pickup truck to go out and his dog just jumps in the back without having to be told.
Yeah, and his wife.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be Polk County.
Polk County.
I remember there's a place, I think it's called Lesotho County, and it's where Jerry Lee Lewis lived for a while. And Jerry Lee Lewis, the great rock and roll singer, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there was rumours that he might have killed his wife.
Oh, dear.
In fact, 2 of them. One drowned in a.
He had 2 wives that died.
Yes. One of them drowned in the swimming pool, I think,
Right.
if I remember rightly. And they said in court, is it not true that the night before you'd said you wouldn't be happy till she was at the bottom of the river? And Jerry Lee Lewis said, yes, but if I'd have meant swimming pool, I'd have said swimming pool. It's a great defence. And I think the other one committed, forgive me if I'm wronging Jerry Lee here, but I think she took an overdose of sleeping tablets, but she took them in an unusual way in that she ground them into powder and mixed them up with her coffee.
That's like Sarah's doing to you.
I think that
With
might
the
be
tea,
right, with the poison too. But anyway, I saw a thing about this, and they interviewed a bloke who was from the Lesotho County Justice Department. And obviously Jerry Lee Lewis is a massive hero there, and the guy said, well, he says, they're going to convict Jerry Lee Lewis in Lesotho County. He's going to have to do a lot more and kill a couple of wives.
Just kill a couple of wives.
So that's what I'm imagining, Polk County.
I don't...
So you've got Skinnertown, you've got Solon, I've got the Forest of Dean.
Which is
Forest of Dean. Have you still got that? I thought that went years ago.
There's been some deforestation.
Oh, yes.
It is an area of outstanding natural beauty.
Well, I've heard that. Lovely. Is it a deer problem?
Much visited.
much visited.
It's one of the most popular tourist attractions. Is it National Trust?
I think it's English heritage, don't they?
Well, it certainly is that. Yes. I was...
There's no littering.
I went
no.
I went on a road trip once across America, and we stopped at this very small town, and there was this waitress. There was a sort of girl, youngish girl, attractive, in a kind of, lives in a mobile home kind of way, God bless her. And she said, after a while, she came up to the town and she says, so, what do you guys do? And one of the blokes said, well, he's on, he's on television and stuff in English. She said, you on television? She said, I know some celebrities. I had a one-night stand with Val Kilmer. We'd been speaking to her for like a minute and a half. And, I just, I said, I'm eating.
Yeah.
This is the only way you can, yes.
One night stand with Val Kilmer. I would have done in earlier years. I don't think he's aged that well.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, he married
pretty
Well, he's a bit of a good time innkeeper.
Yeah, he is. He's had some good time.
And that will take its toll on your looks.
Yeah, that will make you look lived in if you've had a good time.
Yes. There's no room at the lived in. Yeah. No room at the Premier Inn. Never let that be said.
No, you have to book online. That's why you can't just turn up.
Yeah. Anyway, enough of that. So do you think you'll ever go? Because you spent some time in America. Are you not tempted to go
I
to
am
Solon?
very tempted just to take tons of photographs of myself. And I then was Googling the town, and there's lots of headlines about Solon wins again in the basketball league. And I thought, I could, put these up around my home.
Yeah,
I could really
be
be a friend of the town. And then if I turn up, I would expect, in my head, I expect a lot of people will be impressed by the fact.
I bet there's Solons living there.
I met them maybe.
Solons living there sounds like something that's on Star Trek. I believe the Solons have inhabited this planet.
We try to populate.
I bet you get great stickers though, and T-shirts with Solon.
There's
and
a
all
pub
sorts.
called the Rusty Bucket. I bet I get a free beer in there if I walked in and said my name's Solon, and they'd be like, wow, so's our town. I know, that's why I'm here. Can I have a house, please? Can I be mayoress?
Please go and then come back and tell us about what happened there, because I'd be so excited about that.
I think it's a one-off documentary series.
And maybe you'll stay in an odd hotel. Bet that for a link.
it's funny you should be mentioning hotels, Frank. Because I've had one of my unfortunate experiences.
Yes.
You know, you sometimes have one of your falls, as you say. I've had one of my unfortunate experiences.
No, I love it when this happens.
Well, I know you do. I took my mother away.
It's lovely. I love girls who still hang out with their mothers.
It's a nice thing to do.
It is. It's beautiful.
And I decided we'll go for a girls' weekend. So the only stipulation she had is, I do want to watch Strictly Come Dancing, darling, on a Saturday. I said, fair enough.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
Yeah, we can set aside the 4
Now
hours
Downton's
necessary.
finished.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just the one show.
So this, I'm not going to name and shame it.
Okay.
But let's say it's a 5-star hotel. It's a very posh hotel. So, you know, I was full of expectation, I often am.
Yeah, quite right.
The auspices went slightly awry from the beginning, Frank. When they showed us to our room, we'd obviously booked a twin room. There were 2 of us. This woman showed us to the room. She said there was one very small bed in it. I said, oh dear, there are 2 of us. She went, yes, I know. I said, yeah, there are 2 of us.
Was it
though.
Nancy Delalia?
It wasn't dissimilar in some ways.
Oh, okay.
I said, there are 2 of us. She went, yes, I know, but this room nicer. I said, I don't care. I said, I want 2 beds, please.
Of course.
So a row ensued. I ended up saying,
row?
I don't want to sleep with a 70-year-old. No.
Oh, you've changed. Oh, dear.
My mother said, I'm not being rude, but I don't really want to share a bed with you either, darling.
Why don't you just say I don't want to share a bed with my mother? Why do you have to specify age?
Well, I just thought it was... Well, you're right, actually.
Yeah.
But I
It
just...
sounds better as an argument if you're generalising.
Yes, exactly.
It suggests that you have certain rules.
Did you say it aloud so other people would hear
I
it?
did.
Let's just clarify
The door
that.
was ajar in the corridor.
So how did they resolve?
So anyway, we had this furious argument. She wouldn't let it lie, the woman. She said, we took decision. It's a nicer room. So I said, look, I'd rather be in the horrible part of the hotel, which you're now making me imagine it's horrible.
Yes.
I said, let's go there. So we went, after some duration, we went to the horrible part of the hotel, watched Strictly Come Dancing. We booked a table at about 8:30 for dinner. I rung downstairs just to check our tables ready. What? I'm just checking our tables ready for 8:30. There's no dinner tonight.
Why was she doing both jobs?
I don't know. They all had a similar accent.
Oh, this was not the same woman.
This was another woman.
Okay.
That's like faulty towel.
She said,
Manuel.
there's no dinner. I said, well, what do you mean? She went, the kitchen exploded. And then the phone went dead.
Oh.
So I said, the kitchen's exploded. So I rung down again, furiously. Oh my God, you should have seen. I rung down again. I said, I'm trying to find out what's happened to my dinner reservation tonight. She said, there's gas explosion. I said, well, what am I going to do? She said, there's nice places down the road. Go down. She was advising me to go exit the hotel. So,
Well, I hope you put some very strongly worded feedback comments on the slip in the hotel bookbinder.
I'm afraid I then got nasty. I'm afraid.
Yeah, of course I'm surprised it's taken this long.
You got your gun.
Yeah, I'd have thought you'd have gone nasty quite early.
I got very nasty. She then, she relented. She said, okay, I can do pastries in the lobby. Carbs in a lobby.
She's bragging.
That's my idea of Hades.
That's low level.
Pastries in the lobby, I know. Pastries in the lobby, it's not
I
the
can
same.
do pastries in the lobby.
That's not good for dinner, Frank. I'm
No.
sorry.
That's not a
No,
dinner.
especially if you were taking your mum away for a special treat.
Well, there was a posh restaurant next door to the hotel. I said, do you know what? I like starting it with, do you know what? That gives them a sense of what's to come. I said, do you know what? If I were you, I'd arrange for us to have dinner at that restaurant and I'd pay for it.
Oh, clever.
And they did.
Did they?
Yes.
A lot of people.
I
probably
ordered
wouldn't have
champagne,
complained.
Frank.
Did you? You
Yes.
ordered champagne?
Yes.
Oh, God, you twisted the knife.
Yeah. Did you order the cheese ball, which was £5 extra?
I think that's brilliant. I think I'm a pretty good complainer, but I don't know if I certainly wouldn't have ordered the champagne. I don't drink, just ordered it and left it.
Yeah, left it to go warm.
Exactly.
Opened it, left it to go
Let
flat
it go
and warm.
flat.
Yeah. Well, the next morning I woke up, they'd slipped a bill through the door for the meal.
Are you kidding me?
Did you go
I
down
got
in
on
your
the phone
dressing
again? I
gown?
was tapping again. I said, excuse me. I felt so exhausted from arguing.
just
It was like
admin.
being in you know when a long-term relationship's gone very sour and all you do is row?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Oh, no, you
What?
didn't.
But don't these places fear those websites where people rate hotels?
you think
They
so?
fear a bad review. So I thought these days it meant hotels were better at dealing with customer service.
Well, I actually stormed out in the end. I was able to say, "Mother, we're leaving," which felt quite Anthony Perkins in Psycho, so I liked it.
That's very fine. It's I find if the worse the hotel I stay in, the more likely they are to have a coffee table book that says the world's greatest hotels. Just to rob it in.
Yeah, where you could have stayed. Yeah, just did a bit more research.
Just think what this could have been like.
If you were in Marrakesh.
And you get the wine. Do you ever get the wine trap?
Oh, what's the wine trap?
It's when they'll put wine in like an ice bucket with a slight hint that it's a complimentary bottle.
And then
did they do that?
Yeah, and then you drink it, and then it's on your bill, and they say, "Oh no, we just put it there."
Oh, when you get to the room, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've had it with water as well. I've had it where the water bottles are on the bedside tables,
the
and you think, well, of course, it can't be in the minibar if it's on the bedside table, but it is.
They charge you £17.
The minibar is just an abstract concept. It's not about that little safe. No, it's the whole room is a minibar. I hate that. I stopped in a B&B in Southend once with a woman called Mrs. Bacon.
Oh, what was that? Your plus one, or was that the hotelier?
No. She was the
good time innkeeper.
She was the good lady there, and I don't know if she was a good time innkeeper. She was. I think she was. I can't explain what happened. I arrived with my girlfriend at the time, and we checked in with Mrs. Bacon. I gave my name, etc. We chatted generally about, this and that, the way you do, and then we went up to our room, and it was quite a new relationship, so we were lying on the bed snogging. Almost immediately we got into the room. At which point, we've been in the room, I'd say, 4 minutes. The door burst open. There was Mrs. Bacon.
Was holding a frying pan?
No, she was standing... don't stereotype Mrs. Bacon. She was standing there with a couple, and the man was carrying a suitcase.
Oh, dear.
And she said, "What are you doing in here?" And I said, "Well, we just checked in about 5 minutes ago." I remember she looked away. Name? I said, we just checked in about 4 minutes ago.
Was it like Memento with Guy Pearce, that she can only remember things in minute time slots?
It was terrifying, and the couple looked embarrassed. I was flushed for so many reasons.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Bacon relented and went, and I remember I went and did a gig that night at a place called Cliff's Pavilion, and I came back with my girlfriend, and she made me do one of those things I only ever do in films: wedge a chair against the bottom of the door.
In case Mrs. Bacon.
And then I had to search like under the bed and in the wardrobe to make sure Mrs. Bacon wasn't around.
I had to stay in a B&B in Devon when I was on tour, and we got there, and first of all, there was no phone reception, which she hadn't told us. But she'd given us the address, and it was called something like the Two Firs. And there was a postcode, and it was the sat-nav thing just said, well, it's in this 50 square mile radius. So we drive around for ages trying to find this house. We eventually get there, and we know that someone's in the house, but they're not answering the door. So we keep ringing on this doorbell for ages. In the end, we thought, well, we'll go to the pub and then go back. We came back, rang on the doorbell again for 20 minutes. Eventually, her teenage son answers the door, and in that breathy voice, like he's just been doing something energetic and suspicious.
It's all gone a bit Caroline Flack.
He opened the door. He opened the door and went...
Oh, no, don't like the sound of him. Was he the young Darth Vader?
Yeah. And we stayed, and the other weird thing was that we had these two rooms, and she gave us a list of what we had. We had to choose breakfast the night before, and it was a sort of 3-page form. We had to identify.
At least with Mrs. Bacon, you know where you stand.
Exactly.
Everyone knows what's breakfast.
And I just, the whole concept of staying in someone's home, we all giving them money, and you're staying there, but it really felt as if we'd, interrupted.
Yeah, you were intruded.
I mean, she'd gone out for the evening. She'd gone out with her friends.
With her fancy man, no doubt.
Left her son in charge and said, whatever you do, answer the door, don't do something suspicious in the piano room.
This is what it must have been like for the young evacuees going into the country from the city during the war.
I locked my door at night. So that's better than putting a chair.
Was that because of the young boy?
The young boy, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to get out.
Furious activity.
I stayed in a place that had... it was owned by two middle-aged gay men, and they had a room called the Shirley Bassey room.
They keep an immaculate guest house, I find.
Yes,
middle-aged gay men.
they do.
They do.
And the Shirley Bassey room, we got several pictures of Shirley, but also they had managed to persuade her when she was performing at the local theatre to come and have dinner at their expense in the Shirley Bassey room. And I said, how was she? And they said she was very friendly at the beginning, but then towards the end of the evening they said she got quite rude. But really that's what you want from a big star. Well, is it?
Is it?
Well, I
Was
don't
it like
know.
when you go to an Indian restaurant and there's pictures of celebrities on the wall? And so, like the B&B, was there a picture of her on the bed?
No, not on the bed,
No.
but around in the Shirley Bassey room. It was draped with. I once went to an Edinburgh pizza parlour, and they had a picture of Frankie Valli on the wall,
Oh.
and I said, "Oh, is that Frankie Valli?" And the guy said, "Yeah, very very nice man." And I said, "I bet I can guess which pizza he had."
Yeah.
And he said, "I don't remember what he had."
The Hawaiian.
I said, "No, I bet I can guess. I bet I can guess what pizza Frankie Valli." He said, I don't know. It was a long time ago."
No, he wouldn't go. He wouldn't play your
He
joke.
wouldn't play. Yeah. Anyone who doesn't get that joke, I suggest you could have a very lovely time in the pizza parlour in Edinburgh.
I thought they would call a pizza after it in his honour.
Yeah? Yeah, the Frankie Valli pizza.
Thank you, Valley.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to explain it. I'm not going to... I will not do a comedy
and the
footnote.
sloppy Giuseppe.
Oh, I love a sloppy Giuseppe.
So, Frank, I'd like to have a little moan about eating out.
Okay.
There's always one.
I thought you'd already had a little moan about eating out, but carry on.
Restaurants apparently are introducing a new system. I fear change sometimes.
Yes.
And basically, if you bring a cake along, people have that habit of they'll bring the cake for the
yes,
birthday.
yes.
They're now thinking of, they have already started charging something called cakeage, which is like corkage.
Yeah.
But it means every person has to pay a small contribution towards their cake, even though the restaurant didn't provide it. But some £2, some £2. Others, Laura Solon.
Well, someone who attended a birthday party at a certain London restaurant was astounded
Oh.
to receive a charge of £60 English for 2 birthday cakes, which was served as dessert. This is instead of you buying a restaurant dessert. I suppose this is where they put their logic and argument in.
Yeah,
But instead of you buying their dessert, you've brought in one. And actually, someone put it rather succinctly.
Is that one of the Daily Mail
He
contributors?
says you don't take your own food into Pizza Express and have an indoor picnic at their expense. 10 folks sharing a cake whilst pastry chefs fiddle is a similar situation.
I like the idea. That sounds lovely
Fiddle.
eating out, doesn't it? The pastry chefs fiddling
While
like
Rome
a gypsy
burns.
band. No, I have to say, I feel probably I should be on the side of the people on this, but I'm not really. I would never dream of taking my own food into a restaurant.
I think if it's a fancy restaurant, isn't it a bit insulting as well?
Well, anywhere. You know, if you walk round, like, when you get, like, the food bit in a market,
Yeah.
you get people who say, this is our seating, only sit here if you've shopped at the Pork Emporium. So it's the norm. You don't take food into a different place. So
No.
I find it a bit weird.
I disagree very strongly.
Do you?
I feel this system has been in place for some years now. They can't just suddenly impose this tax, this stealth tax. Also, I don't like that they're charging per slice. That's greedy. £7.40 one restaurant for 2 uses of the knife.
And what if
That's
you didn't
more than a
have-
hitman charges.
What if
It's
you didn't have
£7.40
cake?
per person, is it?
Yes.
You see, I think they must calculate it on what if you'd all had pudding.
Yeah, what it would have
What
cost.
that would have cost. I think
But
it's...
you could get a KFC bucket for that.
Yeah, but you know, what you're doing, you're eating your own food and you're having the joy of eating out and you don't want to pay the extra bit. I mean, I went out the other night and it was me and a couple of mates, and on the next table was 2 very old men with 2 young Japanese girls. And it was like having a cabaret. We spent the entire... It made the evening. It absolutely made the evening. We talked about it all night. We just thought it was the most hilarious thing we'd ever seen, with a hint of horror. And see, if we'd had to eat at home, you won't get those kind of thrills. So if you're going to eat in someone's place, you've got to pay for the privilege, surely.
No, I'm sorry, Frank, I don't agree with you. I think they're greedy. Restaurateurs.
Well, this same restaurant, when I was leaving, you know, you put your coat in the cloakroom and then you give them give them a tip for keeping your coat, or some coatage.
Coatage, yeah.
And I always give £1. I think £1's a nice round figure. So, I got the impression, this is quite a posh restaurant, that £1 wasn't quite enough for the... so what the woman did, there was a plate with the tips on.
Oh, I don't like that.
I gave her the £1 in her hand when she brought the coat, and she didn't put it in the plate, she put it on the side, as if I'll put it in the plate when it's a big enough amount to bother to move across.
He probably gave that to me by mistake. I'll wait to see if he takes it back.
Exactly. We'll put that down while you find the rest of the tip.
I don't like the way they leave a little saucer for money, because there's only ever about 50p in it.
Oh no, this is all pounds and £2
really?
coins.
Well,
also the fragrance sprayers in the ladies as well. There's a lot of pressure with that. You don't have any of this.
No.
But, well, they do have.
We do get the odd fragrance sprayer in the gents, but I just put a brave face on it.
But they have cologne in the gents, don't they? In these high class.
But do you get these? But you get in night spots. You get a lady there with sweets, makeup, deodorant, all sorts.
Are you honestly going to accept sweets in a public lavatory?
No.
I mean, they must be laden with bacteria. Well, they should have a pick and mix next to the urinal. They should have 2 urinals that aren't used as urinals. They've just got candy and you can help yourself on the way. I mean, let's go the whole hog. I don't really go to the sort of places where people come over and hand you a paper towel and then expect a £2 tip for it.
Well, in fact, Frank, Sophie Omogbokpu, whose work you're familiar with, was one such lady.
Yes, a woman who had an altercation with Cheryl Tweedy, I think we're talking at the time. Yeah, so I understand the cakeage thing. I think I don't think you should take your own food to a restaurant. I think that's rule number 1 in a restaurant. Rule number 2, see if you can get next to the elderly men and Japanese young girls. It's like being at the theatre.
It's like taking a book to the theatre, isn't it?
I just sat back and I thought, I know we mock the modern world and all that, but, the internet, isn't it a brilliant thing? It's brought these people together like this. People from different sides of the planet, different ages, different cultures. Here they are together, living off each other like parasitic fish.
I wonder what were they talking about?
I don't think they were talking. No, the old men were talking and the girls were laughing and holding their hands over their mouths when they laughed.
What were the old men saying?
I think they were telling stories from...
about their first wives?
No, I think they were doing... I'll tell you what, it reminded me of an Elvis Presley live album. And you'd hear him say something not that funny and everyone in the band absolutely cracks up with laughter. And these blokes were saying stuff like, would you like maybe a steak? And the girls are going... and like they, like he was doing a fantastic cabaret. Oh, money. I know we knock it, but it can open doors.
It makes magic, doesn't it?
I believe it does. To anyone listening who doesn't have money, can we say that Absolute Radio is profoundly anti-capitalist? Now commercials, I think.
Absolute Radio with Frank Skinner.